Does a start in 3, 2, 1. Welcome everybody to Geekvice episode 266, proving any vice with enough geek can become a virtue. My name's Morph, that man's Kip. Good evening, Kip.
Good evening.
We are back, finally. I feel like we didn't miss last week. We were here last week, but geez, it feels like it's been a long week. So, what have you been up to this last week?
That's a good question. I've been doing exciting stuff. Like I mowed the yard, which was not easy to do.
Yeah.
Everybody at work tells me, "Oh, it's so hot, my yard isn't growing." Fuck those people. My yard grew like crazy.
No, nope, I don't have that problem. No,
but other than that, it's just been board games and TV, like usual.
I found a really interesting beer called Ugly Pug.
Ugly
Black
Pug.
Lager by Rar and Sons. I just love the fact that it's Rar and Sons Brewing Company. Yeah, that's good.
Black Lager.
So I'm drinking tonight, which means that it has been one hellacious week, and weekend was a lot of fun, and but then already on Tuesday I'm just like, is this week over yet?
Yeah, had that problem last night. We were watching something on the PlayStation on Netflix or something, and my wife paused it and went to Raw real quick. WWE's Raw, and I'm like, holy shit, today's only Monday. That's bad.
Yeah.
So I feel you.
Yeah, last week was just crazy because we had my oldest one was sick last week and missed a day of school, but then we thought he was all better. He had a kickball tournament on Friday, which my wife and I missed because we had our adult float trip, which was awesome. It was Viking themed, and we were the hit of the river because we made like Viking like kilts, so it looked like we had taken like an old blanket. It was like a I don't know, like a fur blanket type thing, and cut it up and made like kilts out of it. And
Nice.
we had swords and helmets with horns and everything, and it was great. And it was so much fun. It was a great weekend. And then we come back, and we thought my oldest was not sick anymore, and he comes back and he is sick and has missed school Monday and Tuesday. Today's Tuesday. Missed yesterday and today, and he's going to miss it tomorrow because he's still running a fever. Took him to the doctor tonight, to the walk-in, to the, like, I don't know, basically not ER, but urgent care, like, we'll see you instantly type place, and he has pneumonia. So,
holy cow.
I don't know how he ended up with pneumonia because, like, he didn't have the symptoms of pneumonia before. And so, yeah, that's what he's got. So they gave him an antibiotic. They actually gave him a shot, which he was not happy about. But, you know, any 10-year-old kid getting a shot, and he didn't realize he thought he was going to get it in the arm. And they're like, nope, drop your pants, boy. He's like, oh, shit. Amber had taken him, and she's like, the look on his face when they're like, well, you need you to pull down your pants so you're going to get this in your hip. And he's like, no. And there's this like, no, really, it goes in your hip. And he's like, no, it's not. I'm not pulling my pants down. So she explained to him, you don't have to like pull it all the way down. You just need to pull it down a little bit. And Amber said that he was pretty upset getting it, but he held it all in until the nurse left, and then he looked at her, and he just started bawling. He's like, oh my god, that hurts so bad. It's like, because it's not one of those quick shots either, you know, where they quick stick you and push it in really quick. No, this was like Amber's like, no, they stuck him, and then it's a slow push, and I'm like, oh yeah, those hurt the worst. That's what it just burns all the way through. I'm like,
Did they
oh.
explain why it had to be in the hip?
No, no, the reason I have always heard it, and I'm sure there's a nurse that's listening to this that could give us a very, or a doctor even, that could give us a better understanding. But from what I always heard, it just doing it in the hip is just it gets worked into the muscle. One, you have more muscle in your butt than you do other places, especially kids, and also there it gets worked constantly because you're standing up, sitting down, moving your legs, walking, and all that stuff, and so it just works it into your system quicker. That could be utter bullshit that they just told me when I was his age and getting shots like this. But yeah, I don't know.
Huh.
Sounds
Interesting.
smart, but it could be a wives' tale for all I know. I've but I've been told that for many many years because when I was his age, I used to have to get allergy shots twice a year. So and those were the same kind, like right in the hip, and they were the slow burn, like stick it and then just like slowly push in the syringe, like fucking Gale. Yeah,
It sounds like witch doctory to me.
right, right. But well, and then to top it all off tonight, we were sitting down for dinner. We're like, man, it's really warm in the house. Our air conditioner froze up. So luckily, it is August in Kansas, and it is not 110 degrees. It's supposed to get pretty low tonight, like 57. I think it's the low
Yeah.
tonight. So it's like, okay, shut off the air, open the windows, turn the attic fan on. Well, let's see if we can make this work. But
Yeah.
hmm,
Usually when that happens, you're low on Freon.
yeah, well, that's the scary part is we just had that filled. So
Yikes.
we've pretty much just gone with the fact of all right, it's time to just bite the bullet and get a new air conditioner. So it's just, do we have to do it right now, or can we limp it along till the winter months and then do it? Or I don't know. I don't know. Just like you know.
Well, if you're going to get a new one, I have a great company to recommend, so I can send that to
Yeah,
you.
yeah. Sounds good to me.
They will treat you right, and their prices are good.
There you go. Um. So yeah, yeah, that's what's going on here. However, I did get to play some board games tonight. Played,
What?
got to play Gizmos with my two boys, and I'm be happy to say I won again. Pissed off both the kids because they were pretty confident that I was going to lose, and snuck it back out with one extra winning card that gave me some extra points, and uh, yeah. So Reese was really pissed because he came in last. But he came in last by 1 point. He had 36. Conley had 37. I had 40. So it was a close battle. Um, but yeah, a lot of fun. I love Gizmos. It's a great game. Lots of fun. And then while Reese was at the doctor's, Conley and Conley's like, one, we played some Super Smash Brothers on the Wii or on the Switch for a little while, and then I was like, all right, we gotta go get ready for bed. He's like, well, can we play one more game? And I'm like, what do you want to play? And he's like, I want to play a board game. I'm like, okay, bring it on out. Let's see what it is. He brings out Mousetrap. So so we played Mousetrap, and I
Heck
won that one too.
yeah.
So Dad's on a winning streak. So
Nice.
yeah, it was. I mean, Goofy.
Mousetrap Master.
Yeah, Goofy is all get out, but it was a lot of fun. So
Nice. I like it.
yeah, it's always good to get some board gaming in. Um, so real quick before we get into your board games, let's talk a little bit about what else went on over the weekend, which was D23. which is, I'm not really sure why it's called D23, but that's Disney's conference, and they have tons of stuff. There's lots of Pixar stuff and Lucasfilm stuff and Marvel stuff and all kinds of stuff. So a little bit of the stuff that came out was that the cast of the Eternals was fully announced, and um, if you didn't know, there's this character called Black Knight, and it's going to be it's been casted for Kit Harington to be
Yeah,
Black
when we
Knight.
saw the announcement, this is what my wife said. He's got such great hair.
Right, right. So which I think is kind of cool. I mean, there's tons of people in this movie like Selma Hayek uh, and Angelina Jolie and like all these people. It's gonna like it looks like it's gonna be really cool. And I like this. I like this movie because this movie is going to be different from anything else we've ever seen from Marvel up to this point. This is not; these are not characters that you could see that you're going to be able to go, oh, well, that ties in here or that ties in there. So I'm really curious to see what comes out of this movie. The one tie-in that could be here is Eternals are they're like celestial beings. They're like space things of some sort. And
Space thing.
yeah, sports people, space people, those kind of things. But the one connection that could be there or is in the comics that kind of curious is Thanos was actually a member of the Eternals at one time, like as a
Oh,
child,
really?
like as like I mean like born of an Eternal type thing. So really kind of interesting. I don't know a ton about it. I because all I know really is that Jack Kirby, um, is it Jack Kirby? I think it's Jack Kirby was creator of the Eternals. God dang it, um, I have to look it up now because I'm gonna be like I feel really stupid if I get that wrong. But yeah, I was right. Jack Kirby. Whew. But yeah, these came out a long time ago. I mean, this is 70s, early 80s comic book, and so I read them at one time when I was younger, like parts of them, but I've never followed them really closely. So I'm really curious. Now I want to go back and read them all and see how that goes. But I'm like, kind of excited to see what they do there. The other announcement was the first Phase 5 MCU movie, which is Black Panther 2, and it already has a date, which is May 6th, 2022. So,
That
um,
feels like a million years away, but it'll be here before we know it.
I know, right? Right, less than 3 years away. And director's back. You know, it's I'm excited to see what they do there. Obviously, we don't know much about it other than the date, but the real to me the biggest news that came um, out of this D23 stuff was part Marvel, part Star Wars, all Disney Plus. Disney Plus looks amazing. Not only is Disney Plus, they're saying it's going to have all the movies, all the TV shows, like all this stuff that they've already put out there. I mean, I'm just excited for back episodes of Phineas and Ferb to be on Disney Plus. I think that's awesome. But not only is there going to be all this backlog of stuff that's there, but they've also got all this original content. Like we already knew about the Falcon and Winter Soldier. We already knew about WandaVision. We already knew about Loki and What If, Hawkeye. But now they announced Miss Marvel, which is huge because Miss Marvel is a female Muslim. So I love like one, her comic book is awesome. It's great. So I'm excited to see if they can bring the same style that's in the comic book to the small screen. The other big news was Moon Knight, a Moon Knight TV show. One, Moon Knight is an awesome character that he's probably the most awesome character nobody knows anything about. And the best part is that whenever Marvel has talked about like characters, Moon Knight has always been tied to Keanu Reeves because Moon Knight is kind of like John Wick. Like
Okay.
incredible like assassin for good but slightly nuts. Um so Keanu Reeves could like I mean he could play the hell out of that. Now whether or not they do that with Moon Knight and put Keanu Reeves seems like he's too big of an actor to put on a small screen like that, but I don't know.
And I hate to even say it, maybe too old,
Yeah, well, there is that too. I mean, kind of,
even though I didn't want to have to say it.
but I mean, it really depends on what they're going for in the Disney Plus. If they're looking for like one season of, you know, 13 episodes, he's probably not too old to shoot that, and then them just leave that to the side, and maybe they can always bring it back later if they want with somebody else. I don't know. I mean, that's what I'm really curious to see what they do with this. The other one is the last one, or I guess one of the new three that they had mentioned was She-Hulk. Well, I mean, She-Hulk has a connection to Bruce Banner Hulk. So are we gonna see Mark Ruffalo on the small screen? Are we gonna only see maybe the CGI Hulk voiced by Mark Ruffalo? What are we gonna see? How are they gonna work that in? I'm like, there's all these different things that could be connected in ways with the between the MCU big movies and the Disney Plus Marvel shows because they're all supposed to be in the same MCU. So really kind of curious to see what they do with some of those.
Yeah, and we talked about Disney Plus a long time ago and how I was totally against it. Yeah, I'm not against it anymore. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
no,
have to get it.
no, and I think kind of the solidifying thing was the Star Wars news that came out for Disney Plus, the trailer for the Mandalorian TV show on Disney Plus looks freaking awesome.
It totally does. I love that trailer. I just
Yeah,
absolutely love the trailer for that.
I mean, I've watched the trailer like 6 or 7 times since I got back over the weekend. Like, just like run it on a loop over and over again.
yeah, that's the thing, and what it does is we talked about that today at dinner, and that was I really want to see something that's sci-fi, that's gritty, that isn't horror sci-fi. This might be it.
Yeah,
This could be that gritty sci-fi I've been looking for a long time. We'll see. Thing is I watched the Mandalorian trailer the same, and then right after that I watched the new Star Wars trailer, and I'm actually more excited for Mandalorian than I am for the Star Wars.
yeah, me too. Me too. I wasn't real pleased with the Star Wars trailer, the Rise of the Skywalker. But it could also be that just to me it felt like a lot of old clips from other movies that we've already seen that they just put in there. Like it didn't feel like there was a lot of new stuff there, and that kind of bugged me a little bit. So I I don't really know what to think of it yet. Maybe there'll be another trailer come out that'll give us a little bit more of what this movie is really going to be about. I don't know.
Well, I feel like they're going out of their way not to show us stuff, so I think they're trying really hard not to spoil it,
Yeah, yeah,
which I'm good with.
yeah,
But the teasing us with the Sith looking Ray wasn't enough for me. I don't know why. It just I don't know. I'm going to
Well,
watch it. I'm going to go to the movie theater
well,
and see it, just like
it,
everybody else.
yeah.
But
And
I'm more excited for Mandalorian.
was that supposed to? I've heard people talk about this too, and it's like, is that supposed to be the last scene, like where it looks like it's Rey and she flips open like the red, like two-sided, like lightsaber? Is that what everyone's calling Sith Rey?
That's what it looks like. I
Because,
mean,
well, and I mean, I understand that the bad guys have always had red lightsabers, and the bad guys have always had like Darth Maul had the two-sided one, but does it really mean that she's like gone over the dark side just because she has a red lightsaber?
I don't know. I'm kind of thinking it's more like like when Luke Skywalker went into that forest and confronted his fears, which ended up being Darth Vader. I wonder if
Mm,
it's something along those lines.
yeah, I could see that. Or maybe she's like dealing with her worst enemy is herself. She has to
Yeah,
face herself in like you know, a battle of the mind type thing. Yeah, I can see
could
that
be.
happening. Yeah. Yeah, that would make a lot more sense to me than her turning evil. Like I just don't see that happening. So I don't know. They could shock me and just do it, and then I'd have to eat crow and whatever. But I don't know. That movie just doesn't have me buzzing like some of the other stuff that they've put out, like The Mandalorian. I mean, if they would have put a trailer for The Rise of Skywalker like that they did The Mandalorian, I'd probably be buzzing about that too. But
Yeah.
Mandalorian was better.
The thing is, it's Star Wars, so people are going to see it
Yeah, yeah,
no
exactly,
matter what. I mean, yeah, the trailer wasn't like,
exactly.
oh my God, so good, but I'll still see it.
Yep, yeah, and so it is definitely um, it is Disney Plus is definitely a must get now. So I
Yeah. Yeah, one other thing I saw on The Mandalorian was I think they're only releasing an episode a week instead of just releasing everything at once.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that should make it interesting.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. The price tag is sitting at $7 a month right now. It's $70 a year. Um, Still 70. This is gonna start streaming on November 12th, and that's 76 days, 8 hours, 3 minutes, and 15 seconds as we're recording this because that's what it says on the DisneyPlus.com site. And so you cannot sign up for it yet. It doesn't look like, but you can sign up to keep updated. And yeah, I'm so stoked for all the stuff that they have coming on here. And the other thing, which I didn't even mention, was Star Wars: The Clone War is going to be on Disney Plus as well. So that animated Star Wars show that was really big on Cartoon Network is going to be on Disney Plus, and I don't know if they're going to be making new ones to it or expanding on it, which wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, it's just going to be too
I don't
awesome
know.
now.
I tried to watch the Clone Wars a while ago and couldn't get into it,
Yeah,
but maybe I should. Well, with Disney Plus coming out, I'll probably watch it. That way, I feel like I'm getting my money's worth.
right. Yeah, yeah. And there's a lot of, I mean, there's like 10 seasons or something with that, so there's a lot of stuff there. So yeah,
Yeah,
I'll be
absolutely.
watching that closely because we have just a little bit longer to wait. So, all right, back to board games because that's what we're really here for. Tell us what you got here. Kip, are these new board games that you just got, or just new board games that you're playing?
New board games that I'm playing. I do not own either one of these board games, but I did want to talk about them because have you heard of the Tiny Epic series of games?
I have.
They're like a full size board game, but they come in these little boxes,
Yeah.
and the components are of high quality and things like that. Well, the two games we're going to talk about come in boxes of that size. Um, both games are like less than $25, I believe. In between is $22 at Amazon, and Cartographers is $25 at Amazon. So $25 a piece, essentially. You can own these games. We'll talk about In Between first. So In Between is a two-player game, and it says playing time is 20 to 40 minutes. We play it at lunchtime. I only get 45 minutes for lunch, and we easily get a game in.
Nice.
So I'm going to say the 40 minutes is probably dead on.
Okay.
Not a heavy game. The weight on BGG is 2.44 out of 5, so it's not a heavy game. And what it is, think Stranger Things.
Oh.
So you have character cards that are two-sided. One side, they're in the human realm. The other side, they're in the creature's realm.
Okay.
And one person plays the creature, the other person plays the human side, and you're basically in a race to save or devour, depending on which side you're on, these characters. And basically, you put there's 10 character cards, you put them in a circle, uh, not intermittently, but each card is opposite side of each other. So the first card you put down is human world, the next card you put down creature world, next card you put down human world, next card you put down creature world,
Gotcha.
until you do the entire circle.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have one action that you can take on your turn. One of them is you can put a safety marker on a character based on a card you have in your hand. Each one of these cards have symbols on them. You match the symbols, you can put a safety marker on. It has these little safety track on each card. I wish I could show you, but I don't know in the game. And the goal is to get the marker all the way down to the bottom for either side. And then once you do, that person is either saved or devoured, and you can't mess with it anymore. First side to save or devour 3 wins. Or the other one was, holy cow, I can't remember the other winning condition. I suck. But anyway, I can
Increasing
remember
their
that one
awareness.
because I won by saving 3 players because I was the inside. And so you can mess with each other's stuff. So like if it doesn't have any safety markers on it, that character is considered to be in the in-between. Thus the name of the game.
Right.
And if you put a safety marker on it for the human side, then it's one step safer. And what I mean by that is if you decide to interact with, as a human, you decide to interact with a card that is flipped over to the creature side, if it doesn't have a safety marker on it, instead of placing a safety marker, you flip it over to the human side. If it had a safety marker or a devour marker on it, you move it back up the track further away from the goal. And once you reach the top, the next time you can just take it off. And then the next time you can flip it over to your side. So having the marker on there gives it one more layer of devoured or safe, depending on what side you're playing. So there's some special... there's an awareness track that you keep track of. There's energy cubes that you spend to do things. Those things go away really fast because one of your actions is resting, and you get energy cubes equal to the number of characters in your realm. And usually you have 5 or 6. Usually you have 6, 5, or 4. So, most of the time you'll get 4 cubes. You spend those cubes pretty freaking fast because a lot of times things take like 3. Some even take 4 to do certain actions, and then, oh, look, I'm already out of energy. Great. Another action is you actually have cards in your hand. You have a max hand size of 5. You can what's called prepare on your turn, and you just draw up to 5. You can discard as many as you want, but you just draw up to 5 no matter what.
Okay.
And these cards some of them are equipment that just stay in the game until the creature plays a card to get rid of it, or there are cards that allow you to do something if you pay the energy for it, like keep the creature from doing a certain thing, or play it on a card to keep the creature from messing with that card until it can keep it from messing with that character until you can remove that card. It sounds more complicated than it really is. When you first reading the rules, you're like, holy crap, I have no idea what's going on. But once you play like a round, you're like, oh, piece of cake.
Right.
You have 3 actions to choose from. You only get to do 1. You play a card and place a safety marker based on the symbol on the card. You can then at that point pay the energy for that card to do its special ability, or you just discard the card without paying it and you don't get to use the special ability. Then you look and see if you were on a spot on one of the characters in your realm that has reached a certain safety level. If they have reached this certain safety level, you can spend energy to up your awareness track. That's the other victory condition. If you max out the awareness track, you win. I knew I'd think of it sooner or later.
There, you got it.
So as you're moving up the awareness track, each level has a special ability that you can use. Once you use one of those special abilities are no longer in play. It's a one and done. But you still go up the track to see if you can win. But now you've like basically shot the only bullet you had.
Cool.
So that's basic. That's it. And then it has a marker with a blue side and a red side. When it's on the blue side, the human side goes. If it's on the red side, the creature side goes. Say the human side just played, they flip it over, move it to the next character card, and now it's the creature's turn to go. It's that simple of a game. And basically, you're just chasing each other around the circle, trying to save or devour as many characters as you can, trying to fully do it to 3 of them, or become so aware that you win the game. Either one of those works. And what I like about it is it's kind of a chess game. The creature could flip one of your human cards over, then you flip it back over, or they get a devour marker on theirs, you remove it, that kind of thing, and you just trying to work your way around this to meet these victory conditions. It's pretty fun. And it sounds like a lot for a 40-minute game, but it goes pretty quick. Once you get the gameplay down, it's like bam, 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 bam. You got it.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, so for $22 or whatever it was on Amazon, if you like 2-player games, I highly recommend the In-Between. I could give you all the mechanics and all the designers and all that other stuff. Doesn't matter. It's a fun game. I enjoyed it. Artwork's really cool. It's in a small box. You can put it in your backpack and take it to work. It's that great.
That's really cool. Yeah, looking at been showing some of the pictures for that that I've pulled off a Board Game Geek while you've been talking. So yeah, that's really cool. Those are that's some pretty cool stuff.
And if you think of it as Stranger Things, you can call it the Upside Down if you want, but it's called the In-Between, so we'll just leave it at that.
It sure looks like it. Some of the artwork for it is, it really makes it kind of look like that.
Yeah.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, very cool game.
Yeah.
So the second one of the small box games we've been playing. It's called Cartographers, a role player tale.
All
So
right.
there's a game called Role Player, which is a game, I won't get into it too much, but you roll dice and you're actually building a D&D character sheet. So these are the people that created that game.
Okay.
And this one is interesting because it's a take on it's the most interesting take on Tetris I've ever seen. So you are basically a planner, and the queen has ordered reclamation of her land. And
Okay.
so, as the cartographer, planner, whatever you want to call yourself, you're trying to make the most pleasing, I guess, plan for the queen. And how you do that is there's these cards that go out that tell you what points you can earn depending on how you do things. So the game takes place in 4 seasons. Spring, summer, fall, and winter. After winter, the game is just over. Um, you get a pad of paper. The game, this is what's funny. It says the number of players is 1 to 100. There's a solo mode, and you can have up to 100 players.
That's crazy.
And they say that because the first pad of paper they send you has 100 pages. Because this is
Ah.
the kind of game, it doesn't matter how many people are playing.
Okay.
It really just doesn't matter. And what you're doing is you have a sheet, a gridded sheet. It's got some mountains on it. It's got some ruins on it, and it has a lot of blank space. And you have a deck of cards, which are called the Explorer cards. You flip it over, it'll tell you the type of terrain and then like a Tetris shape. You pick a spot on your sheet and you draw that Tetris space and then you draw the terrain on there. Believe me, all the terrain is fields, stream, housing, and
Trees.
forest.
Yeah.
Forest. And the the drawings on those things are so simple that you can just sketch it on there real quick. Like for the trees, there's just 3 trees on the forest tile, you would say. You just draw 3 circles. It works.
Gotcha. Yeah.
The houses, you just draw a square with a pitch roof on it. You're done. Looks like an arrow, but there it is. The fields, you just draw diagonal lines to look like it's been plowed. Streams, you draw wavy lines. So it's not like you have to be an artist. So not scare anybody away with that. So you look at your Explorer card, you see what your Tetris piece is. Excuse me. And you draw it on your sheet. There are some things that come into play, like you can't draw over a mountain space. You have to look at the scoring cards. So the scoring cards, depending on the season, there are 4 cards laid out. There's an A, B, C, and D column.
Mm-hmm.
Under that is the scoring for those.
Oh, okay.
And how you do those is it's another set of cards you shuffle up. There's 4 of them, 4 different ones. The backs are slightly different. You just shuffle those up separately and then just randomly place one from each one of those stacks under A, B, and C, A, B, C, and D. And then you take the rest of the cards, you put them in the box. You don't need them anymore. So the scoring is going to be different on every game. So the first season you do is spring. It tells you we're only going to use the scoring for A and B. So you look at those 2 scoring cards under A and B. That tells you how you're going to score for that season. So you look at those, look at the Tetris thing, and then you try to find the best way to place these things to get you the maximum amount of points.
Oh, all right.
And there's extra things. Like I told you, there was ruin spaces.
Mm-hmm.
there will be a ruin card. There's ruin cards inside the Explorer. If you flip over a ruin card, then you flip over another one. So a ruin card just says the next card you draw, that Tetris piece has to be one square of it has to be on a ruin space.
Oh.
So you flip over a ruin, oh crap, you flip over another one, you look at its Tetris piece, you look at where your ruins are on your sheet, and you have to draw that Tetris thing where one of the spaces includes that ruin. Pretty simple. There, you'll reach a point in the game where you can't get a Tetris piece to fit anywhere on your sheet. When that happens, you just draw one square with that terrain type on it and you put it somewhere.
Hmm.
You can't just decide, oh, I'm going to use just these three. Nope, you only get one square if it doesn't work legally. If it does work legally, you have to play it. You have to use the whole piece. You can't just say, I'm just going to use one. So
Ah.
if you legally can do it on your sheet, you draw the entire piece. If you cannot, you just draw one square. Inside the Explorer, there are ambushes where you fight monsters. And this is the funny part about it. The monster has also a Tetris piece looking thing. You swap your sheet with somebody else, and it'll show you if you have more than two people, it'll show you the direction you swap with. So like you may have to push yours to the right, take the one from the person in your left. Then you draw the monster on their sheet. You get to pick where it goes.
Oh. Okay.
And then you give it back. And then the fun part about that is any square surrounding the monster that you have not filled in counts as negative points.
Oh.
Yeah, so you actually have a round where you scored negative.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So a little bit of get to mess with your neighbor action. Um, if you come across an ambush, you like I say, you take care of it by drawing on somebody else's board. Then you take that ambush out of the game, put it back in the box,
Mm-hmm.
and then when the season ends, you draw another ambush, reshuffle all of the cards, and then you start again.
Okay.
The funny thing that could happen is what if you finish the season and the ambush card never came up? You still put another ambush card in the next season. Now you have two possible that can happen to you.
Huh. Okay.
And the
All
way the
right.
season ends, each card has a point value to it. The season has a point value to it. So once you've placed enough cards that the point value added up is greater than or equal to the value on the season card, the season ends. Then you go through all the scoring and you add it up for that season and you put your score for that season. You do the shuffling thing that I just talked about. You flip over the next season card. It tells you what your new scoring is, and you play another season. And you just do this for all 4 seasons. You add up all four, give yourself a final score. Person with the highest points wins.
That sounds really cool.
It's we played it today for the first time at lunchtime. I freaking love this game. Um, you get to draw on a pad. You don't have to be artistic at all. That's kind of fun. It's kind of a weird take on Tetris because you can rotate the piece, you can flip the piece. You just got to get it on the board somehow. And you got to be smart enough to look at the scorecards and look at your board and figure out where's the best place to put this so I get a lot of points for my efforts.
Yeah.
Um, and another part about it is like you get to mess with your neighbor by getting to draw the ambush on their card. So there's a lot of things to love about this game.
Yeah. That's really cool. Like
And it says it takes. Go ahead.
no, I think that's I just think that's really cool. Looking through some of the pictures and putting them up on the YouTube. So if you're watching on YouTube, you've kind of seen me flip through some of the pictures that are on Board Game Geek of some of the cards and different things as you were talking. It's like, yeah, that's really kind of cool. And I'm a huge fan of Tetris, so um,
Yeah. Yeah, me too. And I watched before we played. I was able. The guy I played with had to run somewhere to grab lunch because he didn't bring his lunch in. So while I was waiting for him, I watched a video on how to play it. I highly recommend the Watch It Played video series
yeah.
because that's how I watched it. He does a very good job.
Oh, he's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so we got in, we just played it. But he said during the video that if you run out of sheets of paper, they will
Yeah.
just send you more for free.
Oh, really?
I have not verified that. That's what he said in the video.
Huh.
So that's
Oh,
pretty
that's
freaking
cool.
cool. Plus, there's 100
Yeah.
sheets. They're double sided, so one side is the easy side, one side's a harder side.
Okay.
So if you keep the sheets, you could honestly decide to play it again on the harder side. So you could actually play 200 times on that sheet, that pad they gave you.
Right. Well, and
So that's pretty cool.
even
And
then, looking at these sheets, you could really realistically you could scan these things in and um like be able to play like whole bunches of times. Like you just have an infinite number.
yeah,
Because I mean, they doesn't look like the sheets don't look overly complicated and um with what you
no, they're
need.
not.
So
Even
yeah,
the harder side just has this wasteland in the middle where you can't place anything.
yeah,
So yeah, it's simplistic in that aspect. You could just run copies of it and use those. You could take them up on the freebie if that's a true thing and get more. Another cool thing about the game, it actually came with pencils. Not
that's
100
cool.
of them. It came with four, but it actually came with little pencils that actually had the eraser. They were actually sharpened. The game was just ready to play.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and again, it fits in these small boxes that you can put in your backpack or whatever and take with you wherever you go. And it's so easy to play. It takes just a couple of minutes to explain how to play it. You play for 30 to 45 minutes. You have a good time. And isn't that what it's all about?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So to me, it's a perfect game for,
Exactly.
me and Jason playing at lunchtime at work, or when we have our board game group together and we're just needing a filler real quick. Since you can hold 100 players on it, you can have 5, 6 people and play this game. So,
Yeah,
and this
that
one I
is.
think is $25. Yeah, this one's $25. Still a small outlay for a pretty fun game.
Yeah, that is just that is really cool. And I like the scoring idea between like the different seasons and using the different scoring mechanics so that it changes it up and yeah, that is awesome.
Yeah, it's the concept to me is brilliant. It was just one of those things. When Jason brought it in, he's like, "We're gonna play cartographers. I just got it." It's like, okay, great. Never heard of it. So I watched the video and I was like, "Holy shit, I'm gonna love this game. I can already tell." And then
Yeah,
we played. It's like, "Yep, confirmed. I love this game." So
that is really cool. Yeah, yep, I'm gonna have to get this one.
yeah, I
Adding
think
it
your oldest boy would really like it.
adding it to my Amazon cart. Yeah, I mean, Amazon's got it for 25 bucks. That's a that's a deal. Yeah, I'm gonna have to add that one to it. Yeah, it looks really fun. It says ages are 10 plus. Community says 8 plus. 30 to 45-minute playtime. Yeah, and I'm such a huge fan of Tetris. I was trying to explain to Reese what Tetris was when I was I think it was a little while back when I was packing the car or something like that. That it was like, oh, what are you talking about? Tetris, Dad. And I'm like, well, that's how I get everything to fit. It's a game that I played that just went over and over, and it never ended, and it just got faster and faster, and you had to think on your feet. And it's like I need to go and look and see if I can get Tetris for the Switch or Tetris for my computer, like just so that he can experience real Tetris, not like the fake stuff that's out now. This looks like it could be something that would definitely fit that niche of having to think quickly and on the fly and not, you know. I'd even like to see like maybe even putting a timer to it, like you can't just sit there and spin your wheels for so long. No paralysis here.
Yeah, I could see how some people would suffer from that while playing this game. But today, Jason and I mean, we went through our turns pretty quick.
Well, yeah,
It did not, we did not suffer of, holy crap, I don't know where to put this thing. Because honestly, you look at what the scoring needs are and you just try to get it right there.
right, yeah,
Like one of them was as many tree sections as you could get on the outer edges. So that made it
mm-hmm,
easy. When you had a terrain with trees on it, you tried to put it on the edge.
yeah,
There was a couple other ones. You got every point for ones that are adjacent to the mountain spaces, so you did that. I mean, it's
yeah.
the way they have the scoring. It kind of takes the paralysis out of the analysis, really.
Oh,
And
good.
yeah,
Even
I made
better.
some stupid moves. I'll admit it, but when don't I?
Right, yeah, yeah. No, well, that's exactly the thing. Like as you're playing through these things, you'd be like, oh, that was stupid. I shouldn't have done that. Like that happens all the time,
Oh yeah,
especially
I
in
had a
games.
perfect move, I thought, and then I was like, oh yeah, this had a ruins card. I got to completely erase all of this and put it over the ruins. So
Very cool. Very cool. Well, I like it. So those both sound like really fun games. So I'm gonna have to check those out. Add them to our, and then they play nice and quick. That's the other thing that we've started to run into now, where we don't have we don't have time. I mean, even Gizmos tonight was just kind of a rare occasion where we didn't have, with Reese being sick, we didn't have anything going on. We couldn't really go out and do anything, and so we actually had a hour of time to be able to sit and play a board game where normally we don't have an hour to set up, play a game, and take it back down. I mean that takes up a lot of time. So having a quick game
yeah,
that doesn't require a whole lot of setup and you can still get it in 30 minutes, you know,
yeah, both
that's
games are easy to set up, easy to tear down. I mean, it
yeah,
just takes like 5 minutes, so
super.
not a big deal. Those to me, those are the perfect games for situations like we both have. We want
Yeah,
to play at lunchtime at work, great. You want to play with your kids, great. They both work for that.
yeah. Oh well, speaking of that, tomorrow, um, I might be playing a brand new unpublished board game. So a guy at my work has been trying to develop his own board game, create, and he's even 3D printing the pieces and some of the mechanics to it. He's tried to explain it to me in the best way I understand it, which could be all wrong because I haven't played it yet. But the best way I understand it is almost like a battle arena type situation. It's currently a two-player game that he's looking to expand up to 4 to 6, I think, but he's working on balancing that. Um, but it's kind of a cross between a deck builder and not necessarily a miniatures arena, but a battle arena, last man standing type game. So really kind of curious to check it out. Has some RPG elements with it. Has some deck building mechanics to it. So he was gonna try to bring it in to the office tomorrow for us to play over lunch. So excited to see what comes of that. And I'll definitely have to take some pictures and share it on the Facebook page and talk about it next week on the podcast. So
Very cool. Yeah, I look forward to hearing all about that.
yeah, yeah. So excited to give it a try and seeing what he's doing and what his big plans are. And maybe we'll even be able to get him on the show. So
Even better.
yeah, how about that? So there
We
you go,
like
guys.
guests.
Some Disney Plus news, some Marvel news, some Star Wars news, and of course, some board games. Because
But
we
of
wouldn't be
course.
Geekvice without some board games. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
And I've been
Oh,
actually playing new ones, so I had stuff to talk about.
there you
The
go.
wonders never cease.
Right. I know, sometimes it feels like you just never get caught back up. So, all right, everybody. Well, here's the deal. You know the drill. Go check out our blog at geekvice.blogspot.com. Go follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/geekvice. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel. You know how to do that. You can do it through our Facebook page. You can also go search for Kip Morph on YouTube. It'll take you right to us. We're the only Kip Morph out there. You can also follow us on Twitter at Kip Killigan. You can follow me at Geekvice. Um, I also we have a Geekvice Instagram, and which I think is just called Geekvice, right?
That is correct.
And then
It's mostly just pictures of board games.
yeah, there you go. And yeah, I've actually joined the Instagram world. I'm on there. I don't actually know what my name is though, so maybe I'll get that in there in the next episode. Actually know what it is because I just started it. I think the only pictures of me and are of me in Viking gear. So, because that's apparently what you do now. Instagram apparently is the new thing. I'm old and haven't got onto it yet. Um, but of course,
I'm
as
older than you, and I've
always,
been on the thing for a while.
well, yeah. Well, but you're more hip than I am. I'm
I don't
old,
think
funny
that's the case. I did not dress like a Viking and go to the lake, so
yeah. Um, and if you go do searches on Facebook for me, then you will find those pictures because everybody tags me in them. We even made our the outfitter that we used, which is Maggard Corkery Outfitter. They actually put us on their Facebook page as well. Our whole group. There was 8 of us, 4 women, 4 guys, and all dressed as Vikings, and it was awesome. So yeah, my wife won't let me dress up to go to the Renaissance Festival, but she has no problems with me dressing up to go to the river. So they go floating down a river. Um, yeah, so use that for whatever information you need. And of course, as always, you guys can reach us by email at geekvice@gmail.com. That's it for tonight. We will thanks everybody for listening to our ramblings, and we will see you next week.
later.
This podcast is part of the Podcast Arcade Network.
Done.